To end this bitter fighting amongst the two major political parties, Trump will be rescinding his nominee in just a few days and announcing his brand new choice, a 6-year-old boy named Tommy. And in case you're wondering, no, he does not have a last name. Democrats will be pleased with Tommy since he's known to be quite the moderate. When talking about the death penalty, Tommy has been on the record as stating, "I don't kill people. Mommy says killing people is bad." Tommy is a good boy. When asked about his stance on health care, Tommy has said that, "One time I got sick and Mommy took me to the doctor. Doctors made me feel all better." Tommy likes doctor. And when asked about Wall Street's impact on the economic recession, Tommy has said, "Ultimately, what works best for the American people is unrestricted capitalism. Since a free and competitive market will naturally allocate resources in an efficient manner, however, we must protect free trade by vigorously fighting against fraud, and we must punish those who enjoy profits while imposing risk and losses upon others." You know, normal 6-year-old thoughts. And while Democrats approve of Tommy for his moderate viewpoints, Republicans love him because, after all, he is a small child who throws lots of tantrums and usually communicates with just 140 characters at a time. Until Tommy's confirmation, the Supreme Court will continue making all of their important legal decisions by coin toss. As far as some of the legislative measures pushed by the Trump administration, there will be some issues in the following week. Trump will struggle with accidentally vetoing legislation that he has come out in support of simply because he enjoys slamming the veto stamp on bills. Reports will be leaked that Trump and his head advisor Steve Bannon will get into several arguments about this strange phenomenon, but Democratic opposition to the Trump administration will shortly begin encouraging Trump's stamping habits. Other White House leaks next week will reveal that Trump has been attempting to fire senators he disapproves of. We will never be quite sure why these senators keep doing his jobs, but since he already fired them, members of his staff will attempt to explain that you can't fire publicly elected officials, but Trump immediately fires them for knowing more than he does. Now, let's move on to our next topic, animals. Animals. It's what your food is before it becomes your food. On Monday, animal rights activists will win a major victory when Congress passes a piece of legislation that requires Americans to be introduced to an animal and all 8 of its children before they are allowed to eat its meat. The bill will have enormous effects on the food industry, requiring restaurants to own live animals to be introduced to the customers, increasing the average time it takes a restaurant to make a meal by roughly 45 minutes, and tormenting toddlers across the country that don't yet know where their chicken strips come from. Benjamin, meet your dinner. His name is Pete, and these are his children. Our next story tonight is Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is this upcoming Tuesday, and if you're one of the millions of Americans undoubtedly thinking to themselves right now, dang, I completely forgot about this entirely stupid holiday and must now frantically search for some sort of mildly decent gift for my loved one, don't worry. This weekend only, animal shelters across the country will be offering a Valentine's Day sale where they will be giving out free Valentine corgis, which is like a regular corgi but more Valentine's-y. Don't question it, adopt it. And if your loved one is more of a cat person, don't worry because these shelters will also be giving out Valentine's Day cats. And if your loved one is not a dog person or a cat person, I don't know what to tell you, you should probably end that relationship. And what would Valentine's Day be without a good old-fashioned White House scandal? This Valentine's Day, President Donald Trump will be accused of sending his dick pics to various women in the White House. Kellyanne Conway will be on CNN later that day to defend Trump's pictures, claiming that those weren't unprompted dick pics, but rather alternative Valentines. Alternative Valentines, get them while they're hot. On Wednesday, environmentalists will participate in a nationwide demonstration against the efforts from the Trump administration to weaken and remove regulations on the oil industry. To show how dangerous it is to put oil pipelines so close to public water sources, the environmentalist groups will be dumping gallons and gallons of oil into every river in America. We asked the group if these will be any potential danger by poisoning every natural water resource in the nation. The environmentalist group responded with no, it's just a protest. Now it's time for our weekly Celebrity Spotlight. This week's Celebrity Spotlight is Bill Gates. Bill Gates is mostly known for making big computers that calculate numbers and things, and sending them to starving children out of the goodness of his wallet. Next week, Bill Gates will announce a brand new scholarship exclusively for whole governments so that they can provide college tuition to their citizens at no cost to the taxpayers. Only America will refuse to apply because we refuse to be seduced by the demons of socialism. Bill Gates is very rich and could easily pay for the tuition of every member of our show. On a completely unrelated note, Next Week Now exclusively uses Microsoft computers. Microsoft computers, the only computers in the world that can accomplish all of your computing needs. Go to your local computing store next week to get a brand new Microsoft computer. And now, for an important health message from the station's lovable correspondent, Matthias Kalorian.